Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. Now we're going to be looking at the semifinal for the World Cup, which will be Argentina versus Croatia, a semifinal that we have been wanting to see for so long, which means we wanted to see a semifinal that does include Argentina. We never expected for Croatia to come out this deep, but you look at what Croatia has been doing in the past 10 years, they have been phenomenal in all international competitions. And so this is going to be a semifinal that I think that the world is going to love to see because of what Croatia have done, because of what Argentina is today, and it's going to be a very intense match, which is why there is a lot of hype going on around this game. And so I am going to be dividing this video into two different sections. I'm just going to give my overall general view of this game and this match preview, and then later in the video we're also going to be discussing exactly what Argentina's starting 11 is going to be against Croatia, because there is so much to discuss. But first, I don't want to speak about just the general review of this game, because let's talk about Croatia. There is history between these two international teams. They have faced so many times in the past 20 years, and especially back in that 2018 game that did happen. That was a game that many were talking about because Croatia did win that match against Argentina in the 2018 World Cup 3-0, with a goal coming from Rakitic, with a goal coming from Modric, and with a goal coming from Rebic. And that was a very powerful Croatian side. It was a side that the world admired. I remember back in that 2018 World Cup where we saw a final between Croatia and France, and yes, we did see France win the World Cup, but Croatia won our hearts because of what they have done. And I feel like, right, the reason why I am explaining this to you guys is I feel like this Croatian side that we are seeing today in 2022, they're running off of the exact same energy and the exact same spirit by doing the impossible when many were doubting this international team. Everyone was talking about how Brazil were going to be in the semifinal, Germany was going to be in the semifinal, Spain were going to be in the semifinal, but none of those international teams are there. And yet again, we are seeing Croatia. And if we analyze how Croatia does win their games, and especially in today's times, they are so comfortable on being a team that invites the opposition to their own side. They're so comfortable on welcoming the other team to have the majority of the possession. They're so comfortable on knowing that the opposition probably has better attacking quality, and so they respect it and they rather just sit back. They're very comfortable on doing all of those things. So Croatia is not a side where we can say they play very similar to Brazil or they play very similar to Spain or France. They're not like that. Croatia is a team that is very well aware on who they are, and they know exactly what the strengths are from the opposition. Like, why do you think out of the 5 of the 6 games that they have played in this World Cup ended up in either 0-0 or maybe 1-1, and try to push that game to penalties? Because that is where Croatia does like to win their games. It is in penalties. But the only way they could do that is by having games go into a 0-0 draw or a 1-1 draw. Like, again, you look at the knockout games that Croatia has played, both of them went to penalties against Japan and against Brazil. So like I have said, they're very self-aware and they use their own strengths to their advantage, even if their own strengths does mean that they cannot attack like a team like France would. So we analyze what this Argentina team is today and who Croatia is. This is going to be a very even game, and I'm not talking about an even game in terms of they're both going to have the exact same amount of shots, maybe a 50-50% possession for both of these sides. I'm not talking about an even game like that. I think that we are going to be seeing a unstoppable force Argentina with Lionel Messi versus a immovable object, which is Croatia, with players like Guardiola, Lovren, Brozovic, and many more. We will probably see Argentina get the most chances, have most of the ball, but can we see Argentina efficient? Like, every time they have the opportunity to score, can they finish those plays against Croatia? Because let me tell you, Brazil couldn't do it, and Brazil have Rafinha, they have Neymar, they have Vinicius Jr., they have more attacking quality than Argentina. So could Argentina pull it off? And it's really going to come down to can Julian Alvarez and Lionel Messi get the job done against Croatia, because it's going to be much more demanded from those two players especially. Now, I really do admire what Croatia does and how they play, like that diamond that they build in the back, which is revolving around Livakovic, who is the goalkeeper for Croatia, Guardiola and Lovren, 2 center backs, and then having Brozovic, who is a central defensive midfielder. That diamond right there, it is very solid. It's very hard to get through that diamond because the goalkeepers, the center backs, and the central defensive midfielder for Croatia, they communicate so well. They're evenly spaced out. As a collective, they rarely do make mistakes. So can Croatia stop Argentina and pull up the upset for many of the people who are hoping to see Messi win that World Cup this year? I think that the chance is there. I believe that Croatia do have a great chance of going to the final, but it's not going to be a 3-0 win. It's not going to be a 4-0 win either. That Argentina team that we did see back in 2018, it lacked unity. It lacked confidence. Like, a lot of us felt like we had no confidence in that back line and with the goalkeeper at that time. But with this Argentina team, it is the complete opposite. This is an Argentina team that we do have a lot of confidence on. Now, in that starting 11 that was there back in 2018, there were 3 players from that starting 11 that still play today in today's starting 11, which is Messi, Otamendi, and Acuna. Now, you know what's so crazy about this is knowing that these 3 players that I have just named, they play way better now, even though they're 4 years older, mainly because the Argentinian coach Scaloni, not only can he restart a whole team and bring in a brand new dynasty, but he can also boost the level of individual players, and it does so happen to be Messi, Otamendi, and Acuna. So these players individually are going to be required to up their level, to play the game of their lives, to beat a very defensive Croatian side, and the only coach that can do that and bring the best out of these players, it is Scaloni. And Argentina is going to have to peak because it is going to be greatly needed. And so now let's move on towards the next phase of this video and talk about a player that is going to be missing because they have accumulated so many yellow cards, which is going to be changing the starting 11 just a little. And so we are going to be talking about Acuna. Acuna is not going to be in this game. He will be available for the final if Argentina do make it. Like I've said, Acuna has accumulated so many yellow cards that he has received finally the 5th one, which means that he will be missing the next match, and that next match is Croatia. Now, it's not a huge loss. It's not like, oh, Messi has a red card and we're gonna have to play without Lionel Messi or Julian Alvarez or De Paul. It's just we much rather prefer to have Acuna on the field because of what he has been doing. He has been playing phenomenal in this tournament. So most likely we're probably going to be seeing a defensive line of Molina as the right back, Romero and Otamendi as the center back duo, and Lisandro Martinez as the left back. Now, again, just because I'm putting a true center back in a left back position, it does not mean that he's gonna have to act like a Jordi Alba or a Alejandro Balde. He's probably going to be sitting way deeper than what Acuna usually does as a left back, which is okay. That means that we're gonna have to have at the very least 3 players sit back from that defensive line, and I think that he will do well. I know that there's going to be questions about Tagliafico and how come I don't trust Tagliafico. I really just don't trust Tagliafico. Like he's great. He's a great left back. We can easily put him in that position, but I have more confidence, and I think that it has been shown in this campaign that Lisandro Martinez defensively is just much more reliable, and who knows what Croatia could do offensively, because there were some chances where Croatia did see against Brazil and it was very dangerous for Brazil. And then our 4-man midfield is going to be Enzo Fernandez, one of the best central defensive midfielders that has performed in this World Cup, and hopefully Barcelona can grab him up. And just for the sake of information, it was reported earlier today that Enzo Fernandez is going to be costing Barcelona 120 million euros if they want to get him. So it's very expensive. The reason why it's very expensive, it is because, you know, when a player performs great at a World Cup, their value just skyrockets, like triples or quadruples. So there's that. And then we're going to be having Paredes in the midfield with Enzo Fernandez, Mac Allister, and De Paul within that midfield also. I think that we are going to be seeing 4 midfielders backing that defensive line, and then our front 2 being Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez. Now look, I know that there's going to be questions on why I'm choosing a starting 11 like this. Like, for example, why are you playing so defensive? Shouldn't we be only doing this against a team like France or maybe Germany or Brazil? I just feel like it would be safer for us to have a very defensive starting 11 because we have permission to do so. I have said many times that Messi himself does count as like 3 players. You look at what Messi has done against the Netherlands. One pass from him, one through pass just takes down 3 players. So Argentina have the permission to do so. And I think that when you have De Paul, Alvarez, and Messi just running at you, that's already enough damage. You look at what De Paul was doing against the Netherlands. He is a complete tank. He can get a lot done if you place him higher up the pitch with Messi and Julian Alvarez, and that will be enough. And you're especially going to be needing De Paul very high up the pitch because Croatia is a very physical team that knows they can outbody you, and they're going to want to get into your heads. They're going to want to get you angry and make you do like some sort of stupid decision. Someone like De Paul will be needed to combat that physicalness and to get the ball very fast to someone like Julian Alvarez or maybe even Lionel Messi. So in the end, let's hope for a great World Cup semifinal match. I hope that Argentina gets this win. It's not going to be easy. Croatia is a very respectable team, and may the best team win. That will be wrapping up today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.